always talking shit show.
Yo, what's happening? It's your boy
Yerp.
Talkin.
It's your boy Keem Sincere.
You back with another session of the Always Talking Shit Show. What's happening? How's your fucking Memorial Day, man?
First off, shout out to all the people that were memorializing in the service that they rendered. My pops, your pops included, right?
My
Grandfathers as well. It was lax, bro. I didn't do shit. I can honestly say that. I just kicked it with the fam, and not even on no like celebrated type shit. We just chilled around the house, lounge.
Reno and my kids and shit. Shot a video. That's about it.
How'd that go?
That's alright. It's work.
Yeah.
One of these days I get nothing but a vacation out there and I don't have to go for work.
I mean, might as well get it though. You out
Right.
there. They calling for you. You know. It's been a lot going on. It's episode 49.
Yep.
Who rounded in?
From half a century, nigga.
5-0. 5-0.
Half a century, nigga.
That's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm. It would have been already, but we took our little break or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Little two break, one New Year's break and one break like after that.
But that's all good though. We out here.
We'll probably have like one more here soon because I gotta move into a new spot.
Yeah, no, that's good.
But
you know that well.
Motherfucking train keeps rolling.
I know you've been busy, man. So, excuse me. I'm not sure at everything that you if you was keeping track with the bullshit.
Tried to.
There's a lot of heavy shit we could talk about, man. But I told myself, man, we just God bless you.
Ooh, thank you.
We just gonna talk about the bullshit, man. We gonna talk about not just bullshit, but we ain't gonna go too deep today. We ain't gonna get too political. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on. There's a lot of revelations happening, and I'm gonna start here because it's light. But as I think about it, these stories are all kind of connected. Danny Boy, familiar with him?
Mm-mm.
I ain't mad at you, Tupac.
Okay.
On the hook. And it wasn't recent, but the more recent revelations of Danny Boy is that he's a member of the LGBTQ community, and we support him fully over here
Right.
at the ATS network. So I want to get that out the way. Danny Boy was that nigga. I feel like Suge and them honestly was playing too much gangster over there. They was too into the streets. They let a lot of talented people rot away on death row.
Yep.
And Danny Boy was definitely one of them. Because think about it. He said something in this interview that made me think, and it was like, damn, he right. If there was a male vocalist on a track, with the exception of John B,
mm-hmm.
when Tupac was alive, it was Danny Boy.
Right.
Toss it up.
Right.
Pause. Collaboration. Big pause.
Pause. You feel me?
Big pause. All right, moving along here. So
shout out to Danny Boy though.
My guy Danny Boy was letting it out, and the way he did it, he's having a conversation. And shout out to the gentleman that he sat down with. I honestly am gonna apologize right now because I meant to write down the platform in which I watched this interview, but I didn't. But I'll shout that out on a later date because we don't do that over here. Danny Boy sits down. He's having a lax conversation.
Mm.
And honestly, I thought maybe he was premiering like new music. I put the shit on when I was cleaning up. Maybe he's active still. But some of the standouts of the interview is that when he was 16 years old, first off, I was young. So I forgot how young
these
niggas was.
Right.
Like him and Lil C's and Kim and shit. So he's 16 years old. He tells a story of he kicking it with the big homie Suge. And, a few women are in there. This is at a time when Suge was messing with Puff's ex-baby mom. or ex girl, and child's mother, and Suge basically was entertaining her. Mary J. Blige was over there kicking it. If you were around at the time, you know that these parties were like deeply intertwined.
Right.
In later years, it seems like Death Row was over here and Bad Boy was over here.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't always like that. Mary's over there. Suge was managing her at a point. Mary takes a liking to Danny Boy.
Right.
Danny Boy leaves the little get down and is called back by the big homie Suge. Like, yo, old girl want to see you.
Right.
Well, he get in there. Suge is with his, you know what I mean? And it's just Mary there. So in his mind, he's saying, he like, nigga, I know.
Mary ain't the one.
Old girl.
Right.
Mary's not old girl. This Mary.
Couldn't
In all
find
her
out
glory.
it is.
So he ends up, I'm not going to rehatch it. He ends up ensuing a relationship with Mary.
Right.
It got physical. He was only 16 at the time. So.
And knew he was homosexual at the time, correct?
I'm not sure. Maybe not.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
As a heterosexual man, it's hard to fathom.
That can come, like you said, that's not a choice. That shit is just come at any.
And this is where I
you know
want
what
to
I'm
go.
saying?
With
It can
this.
come
This
at
is where I
any
want to
point.
go with this.
Like I said, it ain't no choice.
This is
It's
where I
just you're wired like that, and maybe it just didn't hit you till years later. You feel what I'm saying?
Hey,
like that don't. It don't matter when you found your
Right.
homosexual side. You were a homosexual. That's just what you are. Period.
Right.
Like that wasn't
Ain't nothing
no
wrong with
choice you made. You just
Right.
finally was like, I like this
is what
more
I-
than
this
I
is what-
like this.
This is the side I'm siding with.
Right,
Okay, so now look.
Right. Ain't nothing wrong with that shit. It happens.
Gets into that or whatever, but is there a double standard here?
As far as, let me.
Mary was 20. Mary
yeah,
was,
there
Mary
is.
was around
There,
the
but
same.
there's okay.
Hold
Let's
on,
be
let me
real.
finish. Let me say this. Mary's around the same age as R. Kelly was alleged to be
Right.
when he was picking those girls up from high school.
Dude, yes.
Hold on. Danny Boy would have been one of those kids in high school that was getting picked up. But he's
Okay.
a boy.
Let me
He's a
answer
young
the
man.
question. Yes, there's always been a double standard for men. We're not allowed to cry rape. We're not allowed to call any of that because we're soft or we're pussy or we're homosexual or anything like that. This man was. So on top of you taking advantage of a young man, you took advantage of a young man who maybe at the time didn't really know what his sexuality was. So you double took advantage of an individual.
Well, she
And
has.
let's thirdly
She has no
say
way of
it.
knowing that,
No,
though.
not. I'm not saying directly. Let's talk about the third way. You're fucking Mary J. Blige. What the fuck I'm gonna look like saying no? At this point in your career, you're young, and Mary J. Blige still bad, nigga.
Well, that's what they were saying about R. Kelly. You know, I get it.
But
That's
men,
what
like
they
I
say
said,
about
but
any
men
celebrity
don't
status
have
and
the
authority.
But men don't have the bell.
What
We
do you
don't
mean?
get to yell rape and domestic violence and all that shit. There's a double standard to that with us. We're pussy if we show that type of vulnerability and weakness. Am I wrong? In society in which niggas, you go to your nigga like, man, I had to call the fucking cops on my girl last night. She beat my ass. Your niggas, I'm like, you let your girl just beat your ass, nigga?
Or they're gonna be like, no, you called the cops on your girlfriend.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah, I get it.
It's exactly what it is. It's always gonna be like that. We will never have a Me Too moment unless it's against a gay male.
Nah.
Or
maybe.
a predominant male who wasn't gay who did some shit in the background.
Yeah.
That's the only time that a man is going to get retribution. Look at the Terry Crews situation.
He got clowned.
Exactly. Because a homosexual man
And you can
made
argue it may have
advances.
even hurt his career.
Right, made advances at him that nigga, you ain't gonna make advances me and this nigga for a bag. You got your motherfucker out. You
Right.
could never put ATS out. If Spotify came to us and was on some, you'll never be on Spotify. We'll never be on Spotify. Close that door, nigga,
Right.
and lock that bitch. Like,
Well, now you're speaking about integrity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I get that.
and
That's not
I get
necessarily.
niggas clown Terry Crews, and Terry Crews said some shit I didn't like. But how you gonna clown a nigga for not
Or,
getting punked out?
or just.
Because
being a victim.
okay, so let him get punked out. Let something have happened sexually to Terry Crews. How
Well,
are we
hold
gonna
on.
chastise him
Pause.
then?
Some people was arguing that did happen. A man groped him and he didn't. Come
Oh,
out.
he groped him. Okay, no. Okay, let me rephrase. I'm sorry.
didn't come
I
out
didn't.
until the whole
He
Me
did
Too
grope
shit,
him.
like, came
Okay,
out, and
so let's
that's
talk.
what a lot of people
But
said.
I'm just
They
here's
was
my.
attacking his timing.
But here, fuck the timing, my nigga.
With any victim.
Right,
Right?
like
Okay.
fuck the timing, nigga. Niggas chastised this man because he came out because a homosexual man made advances at him
Hey,
that
man,
he
some
did
of
not
those
like.
Allegations against Bill Cosby were 30 years old.
Right.
So timing shouldn't matter. All right.
It's the same with us, nigga. If a gay homosexual man approached us and groped us, we are going to have a problem, my nigga. Fuck, like I'm with all the LGBTQ. I'm with homosexuality.
Whoa.
You're free to do what you want, but it's
Can't
just
nobody
like
grope me. Let's just
exactly
leave it at that.
man or a woman or a man. Period. It's just like I can't grope a woman.
Right.
You can't come grope me. That
That's
ain't
nasty.
that
Keep your
ain't
hands to
free
yourself.
free because you're the homosexual and I can't. No, nigga, it's not right on any scale, hetero or homosexual, nigga. Period.
All right. Well, I just wanted to gauge the temperature in the room on that one. Shout out to Mary J. Blige. Shout out to Danny Boy. This is no way. I'm not trying to kick up any dirt on them.
We don't get the same bail and the same bailout and the same rules and the same. Nigga, we don't get a Me Too movement. Because how many niggas got the Terry Crews story?
I'm not trying to have a surviving Mary J. Blige moment. I'm just
but I'm just saying, how many people
out there.
got a Terry Crews moment? Not a where a homosexual movie director or somebody did something that we never heard about.
No, I feel
70s, 80s, 90s, now.
I get it.
You know? Look at the Corey Feldman story and shit, nigga. Come on, bruh. This ain't new.
All right, well.
And look what they did to that man, bruh.
So we agree.
What
We
they
agree.
fucking did to Corey Feldman, nigga, because he defended Michael Jackson, nigga.
Shout out to all the victims. No, because he was about to expose the internet.
Yeah, on top of supporting Michael Jackson, you was about to expose all these motherfucking pedophiles and these weirdos like they should have been.
Just being
but we called but not we. Y'all called Michael Jackson the weirdo. You need to be watching you pointing this fucking finger at.
It's funny you bring up Michael because he's gonna come up in this.
That shit's crazy to me.
So speaking of Michael Jackson.
Hold on, let me say this one time before you go into that. They call Michael Jackson weird and alien, all types of pedophiles and shit. But you niggas never looked in that mirror who you over here praising and all this Harvey Weinstein shit he's done and all this shit. But look what you tried to do to Mike, nigga. Come on, bro. Miss me with that.
Harvey Weinstein is a white male.
Go ahead, bro. Exactly.
Mike isn't. He's never gonna get that. And you know when you're nasty.
And when he died, you made a Finding Neverland after the man's here not to defend himself. Fuck you. Come on, man. Niggas ain't made no documentary on Harvey Weinstein. This nigga's still alive.
Hey, so what I was saying is that
what you have about Mike?
Michael Jackson's attorney, Tom. I always mess his name up. I had it written down. Tom Mesereau. For journalistic purposes, I had to watch a Vlad interview with him.
Right.
Because he rarely does these. It was brilliant. Shout out to Vlad. Vlad did his thing, asked a lot of questions, same way he does everybody. Mm-hmm. But there was nothing criminal here, so there was no way to critique him, right?
Right.
Man, Mike was innocent.
Of course, bro. Come on, man.
So like Tom Mesereau, he talks his story.
You ain't gotta tell me that, but I do want to hear how
everybody
somebody
knows
verifies.
He's one of the most brilliant attorneys, ever.
Yeah, he a Cochran type.
And yes,
he's Cochran-esque.
Recommended him.
There you go.
To Mike.
He's Cochran-esque.
And so, yes, he's very Cochran-esque. And he talked more so about the stuff that he does for the community. Right. Like he got his start representing Bloods and Crips. Okay. And what he called the pseudo gang drug war. Right. Iran-Contra. Around that time. Right. When our United States government under the
Kill the Messenger, watch the movie.
You're right. Under the
under the Contra thing.
Under the Iran-Contra. Yeah. Under Ronald Reagan. Yeah. They armed young black men. On drugs. They armed young black men and the Contras, and they also fed the black community
crack
cocaine.
Yep. Or cocaine, and we learned how to cook crack.
Cocaine, and then
and
black
people
taught
us how to cook crack.
And black people were innovative.
Right, like we always are.
So them hustlers innovated and made crack. Yeah. Right. So what he was saying was he got to start representing men that they were just throwing the book at. And so it made him impassioned in basically the African American male struggle. Right. And the criminality of us and the criminalization of
White
us.
man?
Yes, he's Jewish.
Oh, lovely.
right? A Jewish white guy. And so he was saying how, what Vlad pointed out in the interview was as famous he is for these big time cases, calling Kaepernick,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Oh,
Mike,
so he's that dude.
Mike Tyson, fucking
Okay.
Michael Jackson, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he that guy.
Suge Knight. Two things he verified. He said Michael Jackson, this is a quote. He said Michael Jackson is the most targeted human that he's ever learned, heard about, known about, read about, or come across. And he said that he doubts he'll ever see
Come across
another
another.
human like that. He said at the time you're talking about the most famous person in the world.
Yeah.
They say that about people, but it was
he
facts
was.
about Michael.
Yeah, Mike
There's
was.
people on this earth that deny that Jesus Christ existed.
But never will deny Michael Jackson was.
They
who
know
he
Michael
was.
Jackson.
Right.
Okay? Let's go there. At the time, he's one of the most richest people in the world, and at the time, he's black. And he took bad legal practice from a group of money-hungry lawyers that fed him to the wolves and said, hey, Mike, you're going to make nearly $1 billion in the next few years. You're the most beloved person on earth. Just settle this case. What's $20-some-odd million to you?
My integrity.
Well, he took
My name.
he took the legal advice.
Yep.
And against his will, he did that. And what Michael said to Tom was, he learned that was the worst thing he ever did.
Because that's like admitting guilt without admitting
Well,
guilt.
what it did was it showed the vultures.
Well,
that,
he's not guilty, but it's making everybody look as
Let me
you
finish.
guilty. My bad.
What it does is it shows the vultures
Mm-hmm.
that, he'll pay.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
He'll pay. He started getting sued by housemaids, by landscapers,
Everybody.
by contractors, by people that rented his homes. They would fall and say that they fell because the gravel was loose, and sue Mike. So basically, it was the reason why he got acquitted on all charges.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Tom was saying. The evidence represented himself. He said that not only the district attorney should be ashamed of themselves and disbarred. He said that it was a witch hunt. And you can't forget the connection between the Michael Jackson trial and Michael Jackson funding OJ's defense when the government froze his assets.
Yep, exactly.
He said Michael Jackson wrote a blank check to Johnny Cochran and said, I know OJ and I know Nicole. OJ's innocent.
Yep.
Get him off, Johnny. That's what Johnny Cochran said Michael said to him, a quote.
Yeah.
Wrote him a blank check and signed it. And then the Dream Team was formed. And then history, boom, we know what happened.
Right.
Never mind your personal, whatever.
I didn't mind the Kardashian dad.
No, look, listen to me.
The Kardashians.
All I'm saying, it's not even about that. What I'm saying is,
lawyer.
hey, I don't know. I'm just saying he was one of those lawyers on the Dream Team, and some people argue he was on the Dream Team because he was also a personal friend of OJ, and OJ trusts him. He can make the shit sound plain.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
OJ,
right.
they're telling you the truth. No, they're not telling you the truth.
Right.
Et cetera, et cetera.
He gonna give him layman's
right.
every time.
So, and I'm comfortable with you.
Yeah, I know you're telling me.
You sure he's the best trial lawyer?
Right.
You sure he's the best forensic lawyer? You sure he's the best criminal defense lawyer? You sure he's the best homicide lawyer? Because he had a Dream Team. All right, so moving along. The connection between Michael. Now we're on the OJ. Now we get to Suge.
Right.
He came in originally to represent Suge Knight. And he believes that if he represented Suge Knight would not be in prison right now. Because he said it was one of the weakest cases in the world. But because he was a 2-time felon and he's in California, facing being a 3-time loser, they called his bluff. They bluffed him and was just like, oh, well, we got this. And they stacked up all these felonies. And he had to call their bluff. He had to, negotiate. He had to think, if I take this, I know I can see life again on the outside. If I don't take this,
fuck around, never see the light of
they
day.
gonna cook me.
Yeah.
And if they got the books rigged for me, how do I beat it?
Right.
He didn't realize, like what Tom was saying, is that the case is flawed dramatically.
Yeah.
Clear-cut safe defense. He said, man, if that was a white woman in the car or one of those white producers on set and did the exact same thing,
it wouldn't have been all this.
He said they would be getting a medal and a key to the city.
Right.
As a hero.
Yeah.
He said Suge Knight should not be in jail. I thought that was crazy. I thought that was something, it's a credible source. You hear people that's close to the situation say that,
right?
But they're not one of the most stand-up criminal defense attorneys in the nation's history. You know what I mean? They're not Oxford, Yale graduate, Harvard graduate, excuse me. You know, cum laude and all that shit.
All that shit.
You know, with no criminal record.
Yeah. Yeah, no way you can tarnish what he says.
Can't tarnish what he says, man.
Exactly.
You can look into it. I won't get into all the details of all the mishaps of the Michael Jackson trial. They said it was a sham.
Yeah.
They said it was laughable what the prosecution did and what the judge allowed. Okay. Rest in peace, Michael Jackson. Case. Oh yeah, and side note on the Jackson's estate, he's currently representing them right now. He's the head attorney of the estate. Michael left him as the person to take care of everything. Yeah. So everything's good. And they're currently suing HBO for the very documentary that you said.
Good.
I won't speak the documentary name. We ain't talking about that bullshit.
They need to.
But you know what? Y'all know what documentary we're talking about.
You.
And they're currently getting sued. They're getting it, and Oprah didn't put it together, contrary to popular belief. I forgot the name of the white dude, but he's really big in Hollywood. They were on a yacht party. They premiered the documentary, and then because basically Oprah owns her own network, but she got contracts and shit with all these companies that they own. And I think they called in the order like, no, you're gonna play it on your shit, because they know by Oprah playing it, they add some validity to it to some people. That's why the black community.
Well, she's retarded for letting that happen.
That's why the Jackson family. Well, she might not have been able to not let it happen.
I would have lost that money, nigga. They'd have had to sue me.
It might not be about losing the money. It might be about losing your network and never being able to get a contract in syndicated TV again. You understand? They got out of the $3 billion that the government allocated for broadcasting. Black corporations receive $3 million of it. That's all black corporations combined, from your so-called BETs
Oprah,
to your
Harpo
Roland Martins, to your Harpo, to your Revolts.
Yeah. You got 10.10%.
To your Joe Budden podcast. You know what I mean? To think about that. It's crazy.
0.10%, nigga.
It's an uphill battle, and it's something that needs to be spoken out on. You just keep your mind on it, man. And fuck them, man. Yeah. Go ahead and sue the socks off their ass, Jackson Estate. I don't know, man. Let me get inside myself. Now, Tom also represented Bill Cosby for a period of time. The reason why he stopped representing Suge Knight is because when he comes in, I'm assuming he big dog. Right. I don't care who your lawyer is. I don't care who was overseeing this case. I'm here now. Everybody step aside. Right. And some people don't like that. And Suge Knight was in prison, so they wouldn't giving him bail. So his team, his people around him, they fumbled the ball, not the bag, but the ball, and he stepped away. Like, I'm not gonna be arguing with motherfuckers and doing all this. I'm out. And we see what happened. Cosby case, he's saying kind of similar things. There was I don't want to say falling. I don't want to misrepresent it and say it was a falling out, and make it sound like it was a negative. But they went separate ways. No, actually, he took it to trial. They lost. He said that he felt like it was a rigged trial. Basically, the judge that oversees the case that was running for office against another judge. That judge won, but that judge had basically thrown this shit out. Right. And the district attorney had basically had it in writing and put an affidavit in that they would not try this. Right. Because of the shakiness of it and the lack of evidence and the double testifying and the changing of story and all this other stuff and the lack of credibility, the statements made in social media and text, anonymous calls from friends and stuff like, yo, I don't know about Dr. Bill Cosby, but she said this to me. You know what I mean? And we're not going to get into all that. A very credible man in the criminal justice field says
it's false.
That he should, and he said that he's one of the most strong, respectful, honorable men he's ever met. Right. So
like if Uncle Phil was still here and you tried to do the same thing to him, calm
James
down.
Avery, rest in peace.
Yeah, we'd be calm down.
All the
I don't know too many.
all the inmates
our age on this planet that would believe that if James
All-
Avery was still here
all
and
the
that said
inmates,
about him.
all the inmates,
Right.
all the inmates that have intertwined and interact. They said Dr. Bill Cosby is give them guidance, help them financially, help them fix their lives. So he's in there doing his work. He's doing there in there doing the same thing that he was doing from his penthouses
But doing
and his
it in
mansions.
a place that's
But
really
he's doing
really
it in a place
matter
that's
like
probably
a
going to mean
motherfucker.
more than any place he's done it
Exactly.
since before he became Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable.
Yeah.
Right? So shout out to him doing the work. That case, I think people should really go back and read some of the paperwork. It's public knowledge, public record. They should go look into that for themselves without the media. Go back and read some of those testimonies, and just let us know what you think about that. Get in the comments on this video. So shout out to everyone involved. If there were any victims that hear this, and you have the right to feel victimized, and we have to all we can do is listen to you and support you.
Right.
Okay, I'm not calling you a liar. Now, this is where it gets crazy, man. And I'm gonna skip this and save this and round it up because we're gonna elaborate on this. I want to send a rest in peace to Jay Prince's nephew. I do not know the young brother's name. I don't believe it was released in a manner in which I would. I am not tapped into the Houston community. Shout out to Houston. Prayers up to Houston because although I am not
Texas is going crazy.
although I am not tapped into the Houston community, I'm like my man said earlier, a native New Yorker. I have family all throughout the South and around the country. My cousins, they were the 80s babies. They got it. They got to it. Okay. And if you're an East Coast boy and you really get into it, you touch the South. One thing I learned growing up is James Prince Jr. runs Houston. Not Jr., excuse me. James Prince runs Houston.
Right.
This is a man that of high honor in certain circles. This is a man that I literally was taught to respect before I could even point him out in a lineup.
Yeah.
Okay? Before I ever even thought about going to Houston, Texas, and getting at some of them beautiful caramel complected sisters that's built like only a Houston, Texas woman can be built, I knew about James Prince.
He's like Trick in Vegas or in Detroit.
Fam.
He's like Trick.
Shout out to Trick and shout out to Detroit. This shit different.
No, but I'm saying he's like to Houston. He's what Trick is to Detroit.
I'll take that.
You know
I'm
what
not here to argue that and
I'm not
diminish
saying
anybody.
It's the same
But magnitude.
level,
Right.
magnitude. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying
Right,
they
okay.
just mean the same to their cities.
So
You feel me?
the OG has put out an APB and a public service announcement. And this time he's not talking about any rapper's chain.
Yeah.
His nephew was ambushed in his own home and murdered.
He's asking for somebody's life, nigga.
And he's put out a warning to the so-called gangsters that walk around in Houston, Texas. And all I gotta say from Las Vegas, Nevada, is y'all niggas better get out of Texas.
For real.
If you consider yourself gang, and my man can vouch for me. Anybody that watches this can vouch for me. The reason why I go so hard on my niggas that's in gangs is because I know I pay attention, and I'm politically savvy and astute, and I understand the modifications that was made once again to the Patriot Act. Why do you think so many frequent RICOs are popping up? They don't need much. Hey man, if we getting money off this podcast and we still intertwining ourselves with gang,
Oh, we get a Rico.
and we're not acting gang, we not doing nothing. But when we hang around, we hanging out with gang, and we throwing up gang,
Rico.
and we talking that gang shit, right? You motherfucking terrorist. That's what the Patriot Act says you are.
Right, yeah.
You have no rights. They can detain your ass for infinity without a court date.
Put you in fucking Rikers till
Without
they
a court
decide
date.
it's cool.
No, you going to Guantanamo Bay.
Oh yeah, you're going to get money.
You going with the big boys. Okay? You're going. Look, this is how they're going to exterminate you. This is a service. This is me calling out a public service announcement of my own. If you can hear my voice and you're calling yourself gang, A lot of niggas play with that because they grew up around it. And they understand it. And they have friends that was
But
gang.
Jay Prince ain't
They got
done
family
play.
that was gang. I'm not even talking about Jay
Oh,
Prince
okay.
right now. I'm talking about gang.
All right.
That gang shit. A whole lot of gang shit. Yeah, all right, nigga. Hear me when I tell you. Due to the new Patriot Act, they're listening to your phones already. Because once you throw up a gang sign, do a gang hand sign, handshake, wear heavy gang apparel, are in several pictures and videos with known gang members, you're tapped, bro. Now they might not come pounce on you. Them Treyway boys, man, they was looking at them. They was tapping them in them and investigating them for 10 years before Lil Tekashi got linked in. But what happened is Lil Tekashi's the kid from the neighborhood that blew up and made niggas rich and gave niggas millions of dollars to play with. And now the fentanyl packs got larger. The weed packs got larger. The coke packs got larger. They didn't change up. They were still doing street shit. Yeah. And you can say, hey, man, when you give them $30,000 a show for holding you down and they go back and spend that on the block, you the big dog.
Right.
Hey, man, when the gang you affiliated with it, you're a millionaire rapper, basketball player, podcaster, any fucking body. Hear me when I tell y'all niggas, man. When you getting legitimate money and you getting a bag and you still want to intertwine yourself with these certain elements, you're attaching yourself to it. And what makes you think they want you? You think they not mad? They'd rather you be a broke gang nigga getting money on the gang shit than to be a rich nigga in the NBA or selling records. Because now you're buying homes where they want to live at when they retire.
The cars that they
You're driving cars and flipping cars and shit. You buying cars for bitches that you fucked one time after the strip club.
That they'll never be able to
that they saving up for. Nigga, that little stripper bitch ain't more important in this world than they wife.
Right.
Or their daughter. Their kid's school. And I you know how I feel about 12. Fuck them.
All day.
But I'm just giving you perspective.
Right.
So when they pull your ass over in that Bentley coupe and you smell like dro in a non-weed friendly city and you got a fucking 100 bands on your wrist, you know, what do you think? They don't give a fuck about the rules, and you getting an attorney and them not having probable cause, they gonna come back with another one.
Yeah.
Bootsy learned this and he told NBA YoungBoy, hey, you gotta leave. But he left too late. Yeah. Now he's facing a RICO. Because everybody that you fuck with, that you didn't gave money to, bought a chain for, bought a car for, helped out when they needed something, because you a young millionaire from where they from. They by their rules, you're the leader of their gang. Yep. And they come for you, nigga, for guidance and help. You the godfather.
You're the kingpin, nigga.
You godfather. You used to be a kingpin and the head of a RICO. Boy, you used to have to be tied into about 20 bodies, 1,000 kilos, right? In a 10, 20-year reign.
So, nah, nigga, we do that shit in a few years now.
Alpo.
If that.
You know what I'm saying? Frank Lucas, Frank Matthews, John Gotti. Shit, now you just got to have a platinum hit and a whole bunch of jewelry on and don't know how to separate yourself from the niggas you grew up with that are actually gang active.
Look what Cass is going through right now.
Hey, come on, fam.
Casanova going
this
through
shit
the
is all
same
time.
Shit right
That's
now.
why I'm talking about it, because, bro, this is the time for it.
Yeah.
This shit ain't no coincidence. Oh, they were waiting. They was doing casting them paperwork when they was getting Tekashi and them.
Yeah.
Yo, when Tekashi and Cass got into the shootout at Barclays Center, a $4-point-something billion business downtown in the new downtown Brooklyn, New York, the newly renovated, uplifted, gentrified downtown New York. It ain't just niggas and spicks and broke guineas over there no more.
Nope.
Them rich white people now from Albuquerque.
Right, yeah.
The motherfuckers from Montana and Maine that got a good job and went to college, nigga, and got money out the stock market that live there now. And they want to walk their dogs, fam.
Yeah.
See, I used to be against gentrification, but then I moved to Reno. I went to high school in Reno. I can't go to high school in Reno, nigga, coming from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, New York, and nigga ever argue against gentrification. Only thing is, let us in.
Exactly.
You gotta let us in, and now we gonna play the game. We gonna buy apartments in our negative neighborhood. See, the thing is, we get the grind and the grit of the hood, so we want to leave it because it's not safe for us when we get money. A rich white kid moves to the hood because he knows, nigga, in 10 years, nigga, all his friends and relatives are going to live there because they're the ones buying the real estate. Understand that. It's not over when you see a Starbucks, nigga. It's over when you see a kid that looks like he would never walk on your block ever in life move next door to you and say, hey, how you doing? They're coming. That's just a lesson in 101 gentrification, redlining. This is what the government does. This is what America has done. If you redline and gentrify every fucking place, where do we go?
Right.
What do we have? Because we know what happens when we try to live amongst them.
Yeah.
And this is not a us versus them podcast. We just talking facts and history. So, Jay Prince, I don't know if this is still current, but it was a time when it said that he owned all of the Fifth Ward. The reason why he's a godlike figure there is because not only did he blow up, he buys niggas homes.
Right.
He gives niggas jobs. He gets niggas out of prison. And when they go to prison and get out, he makes them 100,000aires and millionaires. Like, he does things. Now, he's like Trick. Excuse me. Like Trick. Well, no. I'm going to take Trick out of this one. And I'll tell you why. My only knock on the OG is that sometimes I think that he's a little too Houston-centric. Mm-hmm. I think that, yo, OG, we respect you out here. I read your book on respect. I listened to you. I'll take some of your blueprint, dog. Like, the niggas I love and respect you and told me to do so. Speak for all of this shit sometimes. Like, me, I was disappointed when I seen him do the whole chain thing. But then I get it, but I'm just like, I felt like he should have did it quietly. He did some things that I probably wouldn't have done. But hey, he's an older man, and he don't have to play by our rules. Right? So I understand that too. When I heard his tone on this one, I said, oh yeah, that's the Jay Prince they told me about.
Yeah.
Fam, that's him. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he really about to kill.
That's him.
Kill something, nigga.
Yeah, I don't know what he gonna do, but I know something. I know that if you're responsible for the death of this young man, LA, let's take Jay Prince out of it. Let's take Jay Prince out of it, because, hey, that's what we about over here. You a sucking nigga anyway. Unless that man harmed you or your child, your loved one, in a severe way, you a sucker nigga anyways. And since we don't know what happened, hey, just because you're Jay Prince's nephew don't mean that you couldn't have been wrong in the situation.
Right.
However, man, I wish we stopped killing each other. I wish we settled the score on the enemies of our community versus the people that's suffering from being in our community. That gets annoying. You know what I'm saying? But that's the problem with this whole lot of gang shit. When you start saying that and you really are a legitimate young mogul that just got a label deal and you're putting your friends on, the FBI is looking at you like a gang, nigga, because you said you were. Hey, man, the Italians in New York didn't like John Gotti. The fuck you doing on a magazine?
Right.
What do you mean, nigga? He's the most dapper Don. How do they know he's the Don?
Yeah, exactly. He ain't supposed to be out there on TV and on the
And you from Brooklyn,
right?
Fam, you're not even from uptown. You're not even from a flashy type borough.
No.
You from Brooklyn, and you out here dapper Donning and moving and grooving and monksing. He wanted to be celebrity, fam. You feel me?
Yep.
He wanted to be celebrity. He got celebrity, and they used that to cook him. But they would have popped John Gotti, nigga, if he lived long, if he didn't go to jail anyway. They was plotting that on him anyway, because he was bad for business. Hey, I read, man, that Cosa Nostra, they closed the books for nearly 50 years. What I want to see is them so-called OG niggas in these black street gangs. I'm not calling any one particular out. Do you have the power and the leadership, ability, and the clout, as the young cats say, of the young boys that you turning over every day, pause, and making gang? Do you have the power of your organization that takes black lives and destroys black communities to get someone elected politically? Or to say, yo, shit getting a little reckless, these young boys don't respect the game, we closing the books.
Right.
There won't be another so-called Crip.
Until
There won't be
this
another
shit's
Blood
right.
Mate. There won't be another GD. There won't be another Vice Lord. There won't be another one of these niggas made until we get some order around here. Because that's what they did. John Gotti and Sammy the Bull was amongst the first one or two people not people, but like classes of people to get turned over when they opened the books back up.
Right.
And what they miscounted, and you got to learn history. If you don't know history, you'll repeat it. In closing the books, they waited a little too long, in a lot of people's estimation, historians, mine included, that the real hitters and the more people that needed to be idolized and respected and revered
They died.
were old men, are dead, are locked up. So you had bosses that wasn't always respected. You had bosses that were filler-in bosses
Yep.
for the boss that was in prison on his deathbed. So well, I'm going to respect you. You know, you had bosses that used to be the driver of their boss.
Right.
But they boss was stingy and didn't trust nobody, so I'm making my driver acting boss nigga until I beat this time.
Yeah. Who gonna listen to that?
If you John Gotti made your way through the sticks, and if you one of these young boys that knew I'm mob, I'm doing mob shit, I'm making money for these niggas, I'm breaking it down, I'm killing niggas for these people, but I can't get mob shit, like because I ain't mob yet.
Right.
They hungry. They couldn't wait to get Costa Nostra. They was fat. John Gotti was in a jail and in and out of Brooklyn fantasizing like I'm running shit and I ain't even made yet. When I get made, I'm knocking him off. He's a sucker. We gonna move in on him. Like that's why when they set up the hit, you know what I mean? Boom. He becomes acting boss. But I only say that to say is that I thought that was interesting. Here you are, you have these black gangs that, and I'm going to throw Latin gangs in there too, although they're a little more organized than some black gangs. But I'm talking about leadership and connectivity. It don't have to be negative. When I say gang, y'all don't have to be doing negative shit all the time. Because if y'all not beefing with y'all ops, nigga, what are y'all really doing? Y'all ain't doing nothing no different than everybody else is doing.
Right.
There's a lot of niggas selling dope and pimping and fighting and living a certain lifestyle that ain't even in a gang.
No type of gang.
So I'm not knocking these brothers for that. But Jay Prince made mention, all you gang members that think you're so-called gangsters. Why did he say that? Because this man is cut from the cloth of Bumpy Johnson. I want everybody to hear my voice to go download FX now and watch Godfather of Harlem. And you watch how Malcolm and Bumpy Johnson, one a minister of the Nation of Islam, didn't even eat pork, prayed 5 times a day, and only drank water. And another one that ran Harlem and a lot of other places, sold dope, had whole houses, will kill you in a minute. But they was friends. They respected each other, and they was 2 alpha men. They were upright in their own right, in their own lane, and they worked together to save a people, and they gave Harlem back to black Americans.
Right.
In a way. They Bumpy Johnson is the reason why our great grandfathers and grandparents that did break out of the racial stigmas and was able to own something didn't have to pay it over to some Italian person.
Yeah.
No, we got our own gangsters. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's not about us versus them. Just revisiting this. So Jay Prince is upset. I don't know what's going on. The internet is foul. So they'll put something on you. The internet is saying that, oh, nigga, they need to look into NBA Youngboy because he had a falling out with Jay Prince. Allegedly, Jay Prince sent some niggas to his house. They broke into his house, took some things. Jay Prince ends up with those things and does an internet video telling him that he has those things for him and he can come get them back. Now, I stay out of motherfucking gangster business. But that was some gangster shit. It sounded like some OG mind game gangster shit. Like basically saying, son, if I want to touch you, you can be touched.
Exactly, yeah.
If I want, that's the head horse nigga. That's the head of the horse nigga in your satin sheets in 2021. The internet version. So when I say God bless Houston, I'm saying I need God to please, man, put a protective shield over Houston, because I heard a caller call in and said, man, he's from H-Town. He said, man, they on a full-fledged manhunt out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Full-fledged manhunt. Black on black crime, boy. White on white crime. Hispanic on Hispanic crime. America, why are we so criminal? Why do we hate each other so much? Why do we harm each other? How is it that the UK and places like that have 10, 20, 30 murders and shit in a year, and we got thousands of them?
10, 20, 30 murders in a weekend.
You know what I mean? A day. One event. You know what I mean? One movie going.
Yeah.
That type shit, man. We got to get it together. We got to get it together, especially with NASA and all them confirming UFO sightings.
Right.
We ain't got time to be fighting each other, man.
Just in case we got to fight these niggas.
And we don't even got the technology for that.
Right.
So we all hands on deck. We're gonna be like, and I'm not making a joke, we're gonna be like the Asian dude that's in the famous video where the tank was going right straight for him, and the nigga threw a rock at it like, fuck it, that's all I got.
Right.
But I ain't moving. We gonna be doing that to them.
Tiananmen Square. That's what that picture is from.
Tiananmen Square. Yeah, man, I just, what are your thoughts on the whole Jay Prince nephew
There's just
situation?
certain niggas you should not fuck with their family, bro. It just
You think
is.
they knew?
Yeah.
It's like you kind of got to know, don't you?
It's Jay Prince's son in Houston, nigga.
Nephew.
Or nephew, I mean, in Houston, Texas. This ain't Jay Prince's nephew in Miami, New York.
Right. That's what I was thinking
Las
too. I'm like,
Vegas.
yeah, it'd be different if he was like somewhere else.
Yeah,
You
no,
might
this
not
nigga
know.
was in Houston.
And he's
nigga.
shining a little bit.
I'm sure he's born and raised in Houston. All these niggas know who he is, bro. Ain't no way. And I guarantee he probably don't live in the hood, nigga.
Oh, nah.
Right, so okay, yeah, they knew who this nigga was, bro.
Yeah, bro, that's...
Nigga probably lives in a white neighborhood, nigga, and you didn't go to the white folks.
Well,
you
no,
went
in
right
Houston,
to-
shout out to Houston, they got black suburbs.
Well, yeah,
That's
okay.
one thing I can say. They got black
Okay,
suburbs.
but you went to
They
his
got
house
nice ass neighborhoods that's full of black people.
Out of every house in
Right.
the black suburb.
No, right, you right.
Out of all the houses there.
I'm guessing it might be over a shorty.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's
That
true,
too.
man.
You gotta look at that too. Sometimes niggas that
niggas
come
better
in.
watch out because it was targets, nigga. It was a target. It wasn't no mistake.
I'm just saying, fam, the way he spoke about this, I'd be gone.
I stay my ass in the house in Houston right
I
now.
don't even think that's safe, fam.
Get your house shot up on some accident shit.
But they say you can't. If you're of a certain note, he don't talk about it. Nobody talks about it. I want to say this, as I'm gonna be honest. I think that checking in shit came from Houston.
Probably.
Because I think Jay Prince is really the first person that I've ever heard of that rappers and entertainers alike, basketball players and shit, all have stories. Because there's a documentary about it. All have stories of how he like saved their life, saved their career, got them out of a contract that they were getting screwed over in, like with big type corporations and shit. But it's all off his persona and who he is. That mob type shit, man, niggas sometimes hear black people talk and think, oh, they make up words a lot, so, yeah, put a grain of salt on it. But watch how a man moves. You ain't never seen Jay Prince yell or raise his voice. I don't know what he sound like when he yelling.
Right.
Come on, bro. And look what he did for himself. Look how big he is. You can't find nobody to speak bad about him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that has to be respected. In my book, you know what I mean? God bless the family, man. I hope everything works out as good as it can, as easy as it can, as peacefully as it can. Just coming off Mental Health Month, that's a big blow.
Right.
And Jay Prince being such a protector, I know that, he's going through it, but OG, we want to let you know it's not your fault. You know what I mean? It's going to take some time, but time heals all. All right. Have you peeped the Biggie updates?
No. What now?
So, me and my sister often talk about this documentary we watched that came out within months after Tupac died. It introduced her and myself to a young officer at the time that was third generation LAPD, and he's on a homicide unit. He gets the Tupac case. I mean, the Biggie Smalls case. Make a long story short, you go look up what happened to Russell Poole. I mean, they drove this man to having a stroke because he was an Apple Alamo type guy. And what I mean by that is he's cookie cutter, G golly, but he's a damn good detective. He's third generation, grew up knowing that he was going to be a homicide detective one day. He found evidence. He found the car that, I'm going to say his name, Amir Muhammad was driving, allegedly, when he killed Biggie, when he pulled up on his door and shot him. Gene Deal, former security of Bad Boy, has been saying this for nearly 20 years. Yo, peanut-looking head, bow tie, Arab-looking dude. I seen him. Because when everybody was waiting to come to the cars, I'm security. I came out first. He came, walked up on me, sized me up, looked at me, and dipped. He got the drop on them. You know what I'm saying? So, like, these things have been spoken about before and spoken upon before. These things have been out there before, but finally there's been an unsealed federal affidavit that sheds light on all this. And there's a documentary I watched in college in one of my journalism classes called Tupac and Biggie, or Biggie and Tupac. Simple. These European dudes that broke the Heidi Fleiss story jumped on this case. They didn't know rap music. They was called Tupac, and Biggie Smalls, the notorious Biggie Smalls.
Yeah, I know
Right?
the documentary you're talking about.
Remember when they talked to the guy that had asylum and complete immunity, and his lawyer was like, "Hey, you can tell the story. You got immunity on this one. Like, can't do nothing to you." And he said he didn't know shit. He's from the rock and roll scene.
Right.
They got him on purpose, but he's a fixer. They the ones that they tapped him to pay the Amir Muhammad allegedly the $3 million to take out the hit on Biggie. But now the federal affidavit is saying everything about that story is right, except for one thing. The hit wasn't for Biggie.
Who was it for?
Puff.
Oh, shit.
And if you go do the research on the history of the beef between Puff and Suge, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. So Biggie's no longer here, allegedly, because Suge paid out a $3-something million hit on, basically, let's say the Bad Boy camp. Mind you, this is after Pac had been gone for a few months. It's wild, man. It's wild. They,
It's wild.
the
to
Rampart
me
scandal
that
with all the LAPD cops is intertwined with this. Russell Poole had discovered that LAPD officers were involved in this. He's also said to be the one that discovered that Suge Knight had over 10 to 20
LAPD
active
officers.
LAPD officers in his entourage working for Death Row Records and doing gangster shit every night and cleaning up the motherfucking dirty work.
We've been through that though.
Yeah, but I mean, when you see it in the black and whites, when that come out,
Right.
now we're vindicated. Now we don't got to argue. We can't argue with nobody.
Yeah, nobody can argue with us.
Like,
no
no, this is what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is.
So that nigga was trying to kill Puff, huh? And got Big killed. Or is he trying to get anybody
Allegedly.
in Bad Boy he could?
Allegedly, he was trying to get Puff. Remember, Puff's car drove off first.
Yeah. And they're identical. The trucks were like the
Right.
same.
So when he came back and circled around, he was in a tuck. So now he know that they're leaving. He probably mistaked Biggie's vehicle for Puff. He shots in the car like 5 to 8 times, drive off in the one-way street. So God bless the dead, man. Biggie, we miss you. Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. How does this make us feel about Suge?
He's still a bitch.
So that's how you already felt about him before.
Yeah, because I always felt he had something to do with what the fuck happened to that.
Yeah, me too. Once I seen that shit and seen the dude freaked out,
Yeah.
telling the story about how they met, you know what I'm saying, and where they met, and how it was a. He described several cops that later went down in the Rampart scandal because they were there getting the orders.
I don't know. It makes me a little more mad that you were trying to aim at somebody else and killed one of the most prolific rappers to ever do it.
Yeah, and it sucks, man. Rest in peace to Tupac too, because Pac was under Suge's care in Los Angeles. Suge is blood affiliated with the Mob Piru blood set, allegedly. Even if he's not, he grew up in that territory.
Yeah.
He knows California gang culture. There's a documentary with Suge telling his side of the story. He's smoking a cigar. He said he was smoking a cigar after the Tupac incident, the Mike Tyson incident. He said after the scuffle, he had a moment to himself, lights up a cigar. He said he's watching Pac and them reenact what happened and talking, and he getting high fives, and he's knowing that Pac was really just trying to ingratiate himself with the niggas around him. Like, accept me. I'm not just some Hollywood dude that came that Suge is his favorite. I'm a favorite. You know, like, accept me, nigga. I'm not going to join your gang, but I ain't no punk ass nigga. I'm down, right? Unfortunately, that cost him his life because the get back culture of California is different of the get back culture in New York, Baltimore, even the Bay Area in which he came from.
Niggas gonna kill you.
So they gonna kill you everywhere, but it's just the way in which it happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know what happened with Pac. We're right here in Vegas. It's damn walking distance, damn near from where he was murdered at to where the altercation happened. He didn't get far at all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He didn't get far at all. And Suge is saying that when he's watching Pac, you know, Pac's animated and he's telling the story like, man, damn, I seen him first. I just hit him. I think that's why Pac was so eager to be the first one to get out on him because it's like, I'm going to show these niggas, right? Well, allegedly. Well, sad thing happens and Suge is smoking a cigar and he said he's panicked and he's tripping a little bit. Not that he's scared.
Right, but he knows.
But he's trying to figure out how am I going to pay this nigga to be okay with what just happened to him. And the way everybody was hyping it up, he knew niggas is on the phone back home. Yeah, Pac got him, nigga. We whooped his ass. Oh, word? Pac put in work on him? See, to the rest of the world, it was just some young-looking dude that was kind of frail, and he ain't look special. He ain't look cooler and more gangster than Pac, but he was.
Yeah, we found out.
Maybe not more cooler, but he was definitely more gangster. This boy was already a homicidal murderer. He already had several bodies on him, and the LAPD knew it. He had already beat several bodies. He is a killer, and he's a made man out of Southern California, Los Angeles. He's a made man from his gang and his community. And you're an outsider that's a celebrity that we embrace, but you just violated somebody that's a big dog, a big stepper. And it was going to be hell to pay. That's why it was so much death after Pac died. It wasn't people killing for Tupac in Los Angeles. These niggas don't know Pac like that. He wasn't even on death row for no more than 9 months.
All right.
So it was people behind Lando Anderson, and then, you know, that happened. Nigga, that's how they wore out there. Shout out to the new revelation. Shout out to the. I would like to get all these documents unsealed.
All right.
And see what the fuck's going on. But it's alleged that, you know, LAPD had a lot to do with this.
Mm-hmm. Which doesn't surprise me.
And they also covered it up. And it's documents showing that when certain members of the judicial system in Southern California sought to fight for Biggie's justice, they were turned down by the federal government, even though they had evidence to show the police involved, everybody, all the players, they were turned down for further investigation. And that's why Valletta Wallace and Faith have one of the biggest criminal lawsuits, wrong death suits in civil history, pending right now still against towards LAPD. I don't know if they ever settled, but that's been going on for years. And that's what I got.
It's a quick one, huh?
Quick one.
Well, shit.
I mean, you know, we can dabble here for a minute. What you got? What you feel about what I'm saying? Like, what what you think about. Are you familiar with who Russell Poole is?
I feel
If you
like
are, you should go familiarize yourself
I'm
with him.
familiar with a lot of that shit. So it's just I
No, I'm
be
talking
having a.
individually Russell Poole. Like
Oh.
he was the cop that got the case first, took it
Oh
all the way
yeah,
to the
yeah,
highest up.
yeah,
Nigga,
yeah.
they suspended him. They
Mhm.
demoted him. They did everything. They pulled his pension.
It's
Like he
just
died a broke private investigator that was sick and couldn't fall back on his 30-something year pension
it's
and
just
insurance to
it.
defend himself.
I want what I'm looking for at this point is like just definitive evidence of what the fuck happened. Like I need to know who, what, when, where, why. What the fuck is the issue? Like
The feds are saying that Suge Knight took out a hit
on Puffy, on P
on
Diddy,
Puffy,
and got fucking
and
Biggie
Biggie
killed.
was the
But I'm talking about as well as like the Tupac shit. Here's the thing.
Oh, you don't know about that?
I do know about that. I'm just saying.
I'm telling you right now. Like
Here's the thing about
got into
Orlando
a fight
Poole.
with
Yeah, we know that.
no, Orlando Anderson.
Didn't he passed away too? Didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
In prison or something, right? Right. No, I know about.
No,
all this
no,
shit.
he got killed.
Oh yeah.
And that's when he killed somebody while they killed each other.
Oh okay.
It was another shootout.
Nah, so I know like all the stories. I'm just glad it's gonna eventually. Here's my thing. I want to eventually put the rest of Tupac still alive.
Nah, fam, Pac gone. Unfortunately, Pac is gone.
And I get it. People want to hang on to hope and all that shit, but
I mean, he lives in music and in our
I
conversations.
still have conversations with that think Pac's still alive, and it's crazy.
Now I will say it's a lot of funny shit.
I think it's bullshit
involved
that
in
it
that
took
whole
this
thing.
fucking long for anybody to get any type of closure for it.
Well,
This nigga's been dead for almost 30 years.
it's not necessarily close. Well, it's not closure if it hasn't been tried and convicted. Now this is what I feel.
No, I don't even mean
This is
closure
what I
like
feel.
that. I mean closer to some type of.
No, okay, yeah,
closure
you're
at
right.
this point, bro.
I
Like,
digress. I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
But this is
like,
what I fear, though. I fear Suge Knight being down bad right now. And they're like, oh, we can just pin it all on him. Like, fuck it. Suge
Or
paid.
they'll end up pinning it on somebody who really had nothing to do with it.
But
They
the
love
FBI
doing that shit
and
too.
a former narc, with, Asylum pretty much said the same thing. And he said that damn near 10 years ago, 15 years ago. That, yes, I was brought in to be a money runner. I'm a runner. I can get $3 million from here to the East Coast to pay one of those gangster ass mosques to send one of their hitmen out west to come kill this person. I can do that.
Do you want? Okay, so there's something I want to talk about. Something that really I'm kind of irked about. I fucking hate. I hate the record industry from the 90s to about 10 years ago. And I say this for this reason. Because they're saying that after 70 million records, 2 back-to-back number ones in the same year, DMX's estate is only worth less than 50,000.
Yeah, but those numbers are skewed.
If any of that is real,
I don't believe
I
that.
fucking hate
I don't believe that. And let me add
the
this
record
tidbit
industry
to that.
from any of that shit, bro.
Years
like,
ago,
are you kidding
years
me
ago,
right now?
when DMX was struggling with his sobriety, and the fame and shit like that was really just overwhelming. It was getting to him, the demands. You can look it up. His wife, before they got when they got divorced, he gave her majority of his bread because he said that with her having that, his kids would always be taken care of, even the ones not by her, and he would always be taken care of. You know what I'm saying? You telling me that Swiss right now is working with DMX all this time to get him out of jail and bigging his name up and hanging out with him. As soon as he get out of jail and you stand with me and we won't put this album out, and he would do all that, allowing his man to be worth 50 grand. Like, fuck out of here. I'd have believed it more.
I
If they
think
said,
it's because
if they said 500 grand. I'd have
no.
believed
Do you
it
know
more.
why I think it is? He didn't own the masters to like 90% of his first shit.
DMX,
Like of his first albums.
DMX is in hit movies, and the thing is, he has hit albums. Hit albums.
No, but I
So-
don't think.
so
but I
listen to
think
me.
his no. He even tells you go watch all his old.
I hear what
interviews.
you're
They
saying.
fucked him.
I'm not talking about his
Do
masters.
all that.
I'm not talking about his masters, but he's still getting a check off streaming and royalties. That's a fact.
Yeah. They
He
said
still
the
was able
streaming
to.
went up
He still was
1,000%
able to
when
get
he
a
passed,
lot of
so-
money for shows, and he had no problem getting booked for shows.
Right.
Like DMX got he getting because maybe he didn't get fucked in the movie deals.
Right.
Who knows? You know.
Rest in peace to DMX.
Rest in peace to Dark Man X.
Did you hear the Exodus album?
And I have it in my phone. Maybe I'll listen to it on the way home. It's hard to listen to the big dog, man. I'm tired of listening to niggas I love after they gone. I'm tired of it. Like how many more? You know how many rappers in the last 5 years I come across their music like, yo, son dope. Yeah, and then within 3 months, I had to watch him die on the internet. Like, not even like, oh, he died. That sucks.
I was mad. I started listening to Chinks after he was dead, nigga.
Chinks Drugs, rest in peace.
You know what I'm saying?
Another.
I didn't get none. I didn't even know him when he was alive, nigga.
And fam, a lot of this shit is going on where in their own cities and their own hoods because
niggas
is jealous.
In his car, nigga.
Cats is jealous.
He
got murdered by his friend,
a
so-called friend, that came
car.
to his funeral, that was on a search party and looking and trying to get justice for him with his family.
Yeah, that's a
but how dare you get a deal before me, and I probably helped you start rapping. How dare you get a deal before me, and I'm just as nice as you, and we from the same block. Oh, now you gonna put me on, huh? You gonna get a deal, and I gotta wait for you to figure out. Nah, nigga, like. Come on, fam.
Yeah.
Come on.
Jealousy's a motherfucker. Well, on that note, I think we can get the fuck up out of here.
Yeah, boy.
And that's another episode of the Always Talking Shit show in the books. Host Doc on.
It's your boy Akeem Sincere, a.k.a. Akeem Magic. Holla at me.
We're getting the fuck out of here. And usual is fuck how you feel. See you next motherfucking week on Monday.
Deuce.
New Always Talking Shit show.
Peace.